Hi there, my name's Nikon,
And I'm Forrest.
and we're going to show you our favorite types of Pokemon, starting from 18, going to number 1, because that's how many types there are. If you don't know the song, then you should kill yourself, Forrest!
What Nick is trying to say is that we're going to count down our favorite Pokemon types
That's what I did say.
for each of us, listing them from number 18 at the worst to number 1 as our favorite.
This is number 1.
Let's get started! Number 18. Rock. What can you say about the Rock type? In Generation 1, I was all like, oh, Rock type? Why, that's so bulky and defensive. It's really hard to hurt a Rock type. And then I realized, oh, Rock type is weak to water, grass, fighting, steel.
Ground,
Steel type didn't exist in Gen 1, Forrest.
but after Gen 1 I realized that.
Continuity, Forrest. You're talking about Gen 1. Get it right.
Alright, after Gen 1 I realized.
Rock is weak to a lot of types. A lot of really commonly used types.
It
and
took
it's
you a
just-
whole generation to figure that out.
Yes, it did. Because when I played Generation 1, I was a fucking idiot. Besides that, though, like, all the moves for the Rock type have a low accuracy. Even, like, the strongest Rock type moves that's commonly teachable is Stone Edge, and it only has an accuracy of 80%, whereas Earthquake has 100% accuracy and 100 base power. Not really that fair, in my opinion. But what do I know? Plus, there's like no special rock moves. So overall, not a great type for me. My favorite rock type is Tyranitar.
For me, 18 is Ice. I mean, when the favorite type was introduced, it wouldn't have made sense thematically, but they could have totally at least given Ice type a resistance to Fairy. But nope, instead, Ice type only resists itself, and has 5 weaknesses. Combine that with Grass, you get the Pokemon with the most weaknesses ever, tied with Grass and Psychic. Funny with the Grass type. Anyway, my favorite Ice type is Mamoswine.
Number 17. Flying. It's not really that I dislike the type as a whole. Actually, there's a lot of really cool flying type Pokemon. But there's only one pure flying who wasn't even introduced until Generation 5. And
It's Tornadus.
which is Tornadus, and he's a legendary, so you can't even use him in-game unless you trade him over or some bullshit like that. Plus, flying type, I don't know, it doesn't have much of an identity because you're always pairing it up with something else, so to me, it's not the best type. It is more usable. I think it's a better type than Rock, mostly just because you get the move Fly as an HM, which can teleport you to any city you've been to.
It doesn't teleport you, it flies you.
It flies you.
If it was teleport, it would be instant. You wouldn't need to go through a cutscene.
And my favorite flying type is Dragonite.
Number 17 for me is Normal. I mean, Normal's just meh. Yeah, it's got some cool Pokemon, like Kangaskhan, by the way, that's my favorite type. Snorlax and Tauros, but with only an immunity to ghosts and a weakness to fighting, and no strengths to any other types, it's kinda boring, and if you're gonna be using a normal move, it should only be for stab, or just overwhelming power, like Boot Burst.
But Mama, why do they want me to fight? I can't!
Number 16. Psychic. Yeah, the glory days of Psychic back in Generation 1 are kind of long behind us. With a few exceptions, most Psychic-type Pokemon don't have the best design work. And overall, the type it's not a great offensive type. It's only really super effective against 2 types. And it doesn't resist anything all that useful, besides itself in fighting. Psychic is one of those types that, because it was so broken early on in the games, they wanted to fix it immediately, and then just forgot to do anything else with it.
Except given more Pokemon.
Given more Pokemon, and I mean, generally speaking, the Psychic-type Pokemon are powerful, so I will give it that at least. My favorite Psychic-type Pokemon is Espeon.
Number 16 for me is Poison. Now, Poison is fun to use, but I don't know, it just comes with the ethical weakness, I find, of like poisoning your opponent. The problem people have with Pokemon is that some people have with Pokemon is that it's pitting animals against each other. Poison is literally poison animals against each other. But they are cool looking, and a lot of, with strategy, they are useful. My favorite poison type is Toxicroak. His laugh is adorable, and he just looks like a little dick.
Number 15. Water. I don't really think water is a bad type. I just find it to be very standard and a little on the bland side.
It's my normal type.
Yeah, it's your normal type. Yeah, it does have some cool resistances and type effectiveness, but so that's why it's not one of my least favorite types. But as a whole, I just wish that there was more going on for the type itself. Plus, there's just so many water type Pokemon that I don't know, after a while, it gets a little tiring to see so many of them.
I mean, the ocean hosts most animals on Earth, so it only makes sense
Yeah, it makes
that
sense.
there's more water Pokemon.
But
Whatever.
my favorite water type Pokemon is Starmie.
Number 15 for me is Fairy type. Fairy type to me, when it was introduced, was basically just a F you to Dragon types. That's what Dark was Psychic, but that's because Psychic actually needed that. Yes, dragons were a bit overpowered, but Parrish putting on just kinda insulted Dragon types. It's sad to see that Dragonite can be defeated by an Aromatisse if you're only using stab moves. Aromatisse is fucking ugly.
Yeah, but overall, Dragonite isn't like if I was using my Dragonite, and the opponent sent out Aromatisse, I wouldn't immediately withdraw it. You know, you got Iron Head and Steel Wing. You have other alternatives.
If you're only using stab moves.
But if you're only using stab, yes. But if you're using only stab for any type, you're gonna have a bad time.
It makes... Anyway. My favorite fairy type, though, is Togekiss. It's adorable.
Number 14. Fighting. The fighting type has grown on me over time. When it was first introduced, I didn't think it had much of an identity overall. It was just like, oh, the humanoid Pokemon that like to punch things. So interesting. But as time went on and more fighting type Pokemon were introduced, I started to get a better appreciation for it. And while most fighting strategies are pretty much hit the opponent as hard as you can do other things now with Focus Punch, Dynamic Punch, Low Sweep, to try to mix things up a bit, so I think overall it's become a pretty cool type. My favorite fighting type Pokemon is Chestnut.
Now, his bronze my brains. Psychic is my number 14. Generation 1, most overpowered type ever. It was so fun. Generation 1 didn't have Pokemon battles, they had Mewtwo battles. Because once you caught Mewtwo, that was the only Pokemon you needed. But as time went on, it did become more balanced, and yes, most Psychic types are focusing on the special range, but
Now, there are a few physically offensive Psychic types, but they also have the option of using Psy Shock and Psy Strike in Mewtwo's case, which is bad ass. I mean, just look at this. Look at what he is about to do. You see that? You see that? Oh no, Blossom, it's dead! That's right. My favorite Psychic type is Reinkless. It's a fetus that will warp space and time to kill you. It's cool.
Number 13. Bug. Bug has always been a really cool type to me because, they're bugs, they're creepy and crawly and gross, and they sting you and bite you, and you can use somewhat different strategies with them. Yeah, okay, so the bug type isn't the best strategically to use, which is why it's a lot lower on my list, but I have always had an affection for most of the bug type Pokemon, like Beedrill, Heracross. And my favorite bug-type Pokemon is Volcarona.
Hey, you know what my number 13 is? It's bug type. What I love about bugs in Pokemon is that they exhibit none of the creepiness that our bugs do. I see a cockroach in my house, I fucking freak out and stomp on it blindly in fear. I see a bug type in a Pokemon game, I'm like, oh, that's adorable. Bug types do have a lot going on for them. They got Mega Horn, they got Bug Buzz, they got Sticky Web. It's a fun type to use. And my favorite bug type would have to be Scizor.
Number 12. Fairy. I feel like as time goes on, the fairy type will start to get a better identity and sense of itself. The only thing I really dislike about fairy right now is that there's not a whole lot distinguishing it from, say, psychic or some other types. And I don't really like how so many Pokemon from previous generations were converted to fairy types. Especially, it seems like it's become the type where if you're a cutesy Pokemon, you're a fairy type.
What about Blissey?
Well, that would be an exception, not the rule, wouldn't it? But overall, I do like the fairy type-ish. Like, I don't think it was a bad idea. It's a little annoying that it's immune to dragon. Or, yeah, it's immune to dragon, it just doesn't resist dragon. But it does add its own dynamic to the game, which I think was a good addition. My favorite fairy-type Pokemon is Gardevoir.
Number 12 for me is Grass. I recently started another playthrough of Black, and Snivy takes forever. Like, I have to Leech Seed, I have to Coil. It's the epitome of a Grass-type Pokemon. Yeah, it's a stall type. The thing that saves it, and why it isn't lower, is because there are a lot of cool Grass-type Pokemon that I like. One of them being Torterra.
Number 11. Ground. A lot like the water type for me, the ground always felt very basic and just kind of like a standard type without having a lot of cool features of its own. What sets ground apart from other types like water or fairy or psychic for me though, is the fact that it's immune to electric, it gets cool moves like Earthquake, and it gets really cool abilities like Sand Veil and Sand Force, which I know water has its own abilities like that too, but also the fact that there aren't just so many ground-type Pokemon like there are water-type Pokemon makes it a little bit higher on the list. And I think ground-type overall, it goes well with other types like water or grass. So it's a good complementary type too. My favorite ground-type Pokemon is Donphan.
At number 11 comes Rock. I love Rock because it's simple. You see a bird, you throw a rock at it. You see fire, you throw rocks on it. You see ice, throw some rocks on it! It's blunt, it's simple, it's great. Plus with Rock Polish, all those slow rock types can suddenly speed up, become a pretty big pain in your tuchus. Plus, my favorite rock type, just like forests, Tyranitar.
Number 10. Fire. Now the fire type is another one of those types that seems a little basic to me, but there are so many fire type Pokemon that I just love. Outside of the starters, most of which I kind of am indifferent to. But Pokemon like Arcanine and Vulpix and Flareon and Volcarona, Chandelure, they just make my life so happy. My favorite fire type Pokemon is Darmanitan.
Number 10 is Flying. Now yes, pretty much every Pokemon that's part Flying is of another type. The only exception is Tornadus. But with Flying, these Pokemon get a whole bunch of perks. They're immune to ground. They got a lot of good moves like Acrobatics and Fly and Skydrop. And yeah, they do have a decent amount of weaknesses, but think about it. The most powerful Pokemon right now, Mega Rayquaza, its ability pretty much negates Flying type's weaknesses. That's the only ability that negates all weaknesses. Yeah, it is. I just thought about it. It is very positive. It's way powerful. But my favorite flying type comes to Solomons. Finally achieved its dreams.
Now we've reached the halfway point. We've got the lower half of our top types out of the way. Now we're going to only go uphill with our favorite types.
I mean, we've been going uphill.
We've been going uphill, but before we were talking about the half of our types that are least favorite. Now we're going to be talking about the half of the types that are favorites. Number 9 for me is electric. The electric type, besides Pikachu, the electric type has always been a really cool and fun type for me to use. Yeah, the being able to cause so much paralysis is a little on the bitchy side, but there's a lot of electric type Pokemon that I think are really cool, like Electivire and Rotom, and Zebstrika. Plus, electric type Pokemon tend to be pretty fast, which I find to be really useful in the competitive scene. My favorite electric type Pokemon overall, though, is Luxray.
Number 9 is fighting. Like Rock, I love fighting because it's simple. Hey, what's that thing? Let's go punch it. Great, it's dead. Woo! There's the word ghost types, but that's because they're already dead. So woo! Fighting types have a lot of things going on for them. They have the most types that they're strong against, tied with ground. And they have priority moves. They have 100 accuracy, powerful moves, like close combat and superpower. And a lot of the fighting types are just really cool looking. Like, a lot of them stand for truth and justice and ideals. So, for my favorite fighting type, I only picked it because I actually had it with me in a playthrough, which is Glade.
Number 8. Ice. I usually see this on people's least favorite types videos.
Like mine!
Like his! But the thing I like about ice types is that I feel like a lot of ice types have a lot of character. Plus, I like the idea that their weather related to them, hail, is the only weather that only is beneficial to ice types.
Which is a bitchy move.
It's a bitchy move, true. But you can also use that in your advantage in a way that I think is useful, especially for a type that, like you mentioned earlier, has a lot of weaknesses.
My favorite ice type Pokemon is Avalugg.
The opposite of Forrest's number 8. My number 8 is Fire. Fire just loves to burn things to the ground. That's really all you need to do. Just hit it with a flamethrower. Oh, it lived? Oh, but look at that, it burned! Haha! Good luck killing me with your half physical attack. That's your special attacker, but that's not the example, so fuck you. And a lot of the fire Pokemon, with exceptions, looking at you, Embor, have a lot of style going on for them. My favorite fire type would be Volcarona.
Number 7. Poison. A theme that you're gonna find popping up as we get closer to my number 1 is that I like types that have a lot of strategy with them. And Poison is definitely one of those types. Poison type is pretty cool though because they're usually pretty bulky and they make a lot of good use of Toxic in order to make their kills, which I think is a pretty reliable and viable strategy. My favorite Poison type Pokemon is also my favorite starter type Pokemon, Venusaur.
Number 7 is Electric. Electric, like fire, a lot of the Pokemon have style. Style and paralysis. And with the 6th generation of electric Pokemon being immune to paralysis, hey, that makes it pretty viable. If you're thinking of a Pokemon type with versatility, mine's electric. My favorite electric type is Magnezone.
Number 6. Normal. Speaking of a type with a lot of versatility, the normal type can be used in almost any capacity, really, if you think about it. There's a lot of good special attacking normal type Pokemon, there's a lot of great physical attacking type Pokemon, there's a lot of great supportive type Pokemon that are normal, there's a lot of great Pokemon defensively that are normal type. Overall, I just really like the normal type. I think it's, of all the standard basic types, I think normal is the best, just because it was designed to be that way. My favorite normal type Pokemon is Slocking.
Number 6 is water. Now, unlike Forest, I find the fact that a lot of water type that water's most numerous of the Pokemon to be a smart idea. Look at Earth. It's 70% oceans. You know what's in those oceans? Animals that would probably be part water. But water also has a lot of versatility with it as well. A lot of them are bulky, a lot of them are attackers, and they're just, like, fun. They don't have a lot of weaknesses either. My favorite water type is Greninja.
Now we're in the top 5. Number 5 for me is the Dragon type. I think most people like the Dragon type because, well, they're all really powerful.
And they're dragons.
And they're goddamn dragons. You get to actually train a dragon in Pokemon. That's really, really cool. I mean, what else could even be said about the Dragon type? It's a cool, fun type. They have a lot of the best designs. A lot of them are some of the most powerful types in the game. Overall, the Dragon type is just a really great type to use if you're just going balls to the wall offensive. My favorite Dragon type Pokemon, Pure type Dragon type Pokemon is Guru.
And number 5 comes Ghost. Ghost is just nefarious because, well, they're ghosts. A lot of the moves are about playing mind games with your opponents, forcing them to switch out or making them not be able to switch out entirely. Which is funny because ghost types can switch out whenever they want. They have a lot of moves viable for them attack-wise. They have a lot of moves support-wise. A lot of them have really cool designs or inspirations. They're also just fun. They're fun to use. Phantom Force is the only 2-turn move that can't be protected against. My favorite ghost type is Golurk. It's a robot. That's a ghost.
Number 4. I mean, our number 4 is the same, so
They are the same.
why don't we just talk about it?
Steel!
Steel type is awesome.
It resists everything.
Fucking everything! Except for fire, ground, and fighting.
Which it's weak to, but
Which
then
is weak too. But everything else...
is either weak to or has like regular. But what is that? Water and electric?
Water and electric are the only 2 types prior to Generation 6 that were neutral to steel, and even now there's only 2 more types, Ghost and Dark, that are neutral to steel types. Which is a pretty cool and unique feature to them.
Yeah.
Well, at first, when steel type was introduced, I found this to be a little annoying and kind of overpowering, but now I really like it. I really like that steel type can be used to make almost any other type defensively more viable.
Aggron abandons its rock type to become pure steel in its Mega Evolution. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
it's awesome.
Pretty good. So what's your favorite steel type?
My favorite steel type is Aegislash.
Oh, that's a pretty good one. You know what mine is? It's Metagross.
Ah! Number 3. Holy shit. We have the same number 3 as well.
Stop copying me!
Stop copying me! I'm the one who goes first.
I'm the one who thought of mine first. Whatever.
Whatever. Our number 3 favorite type is the Dark type. So why do you like the Dark type, Nick?
I like the Dark type simply because every single Dark type Pokemon, maybe with a few exceptions I can't think of right now, are fucking sweet looking. Like, they all just have that air of coolness, and yeah, I'm a Dark type, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Yeah, too bad. Oh, your family, your wife and children, I already killed them, it's great. Ah.
The Dark type has everything going for it that I wish the Psychic type still had going for it. Better designs, better move pool, better strategy overall, with moves like Thief and Torment and Taunt to really mess up your opponent's strategies. Overall, Dark type, just an awesome-ass type. What's your favorite Dark type, Nick?
Mine is Hydreigon.
My favorite Dark type Pokemon is Absol.
I have 3 hits.
I don't know. absolutely.
I'm Absol. Oh, I'm bringing. I have to forewarn everyone of a disaster. Woo!
Number 2.
Megapsol.
Number 2. Grass. Yeah, I love the strategic types, and grass is definitely up there. I've always used the grass type starter in every single first playthrough of every generation. I love all the grass type moves. I love most of the grass type Pokemon. I like how versatile they can be. I like how defensive they can be. I just love everything about the grass type. Most of my favorite Pokemon would probably be the grass type or my number 1 favorite type. My favorite grass type Pokemon would have to be Ferrothorn.
Number 2 is Dragon. Pretty much like what Forrest said, dragons are unstoppable creatures of power. They are the villains in ancient fairy tales for a reason. Dragons are unstoppable until Fairy was introduced, but man. Dragons are just the coolest Pokemon. Like, other than Fairy and Steel, no other type resists them. They can Dragon Dance to make themselves faster and stronger, and a lot of the most powerful Pokemon are Dragon types. My favorite Dragon is Tyrantrum, because he's a T-Rex. You got a problem? Too bad, Crunch!
Number 1. My number 1 favorite type is the Ghost type, which you already knew if you were doing like some sort of checklist to check off all the types. My favorite type is the Ghost type. There are so many reasons why the Ghost type is my favorite type. They all have the coolest designs, the coolest backstories. They're all spooky and mysterious, and they all use some sort of strategy to their advantage. They're the only ones who can make use of the move Curse. My favorite Ghost type Pokemon is Gengar.
The number 1 is Ground. Ground can hit pretty much everything except Flying! But it does have a lot of options to use against Flying, such as Rock moves, or Ice moves if they have the option to. I don't think there's a Ground type Pokemon I don't like. I'm gonna Pokemon list this later, and there probably will be at least 1 or 2. But all of them are at least meh. I'm gonna say that. My favorite Pokemon to use Earthquake with is Swampert.
So that's our list of the favorite Pokemon types.
Thank you for listening to that whole charade.
Yes. Thanks for watching.
Or listening.
Or
if
listening.
you just have this in the tab and then did something else, which I kind of hope you did. It was very long.
If you liked our video, please drop a comment and a like. That'd help out
Like and
us out a lot.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe would be awesome.
You gotta do YouTube lingo. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell us your favorite types.
Like Pokemon like Jinx, bad example. Like Pokemon like Abomasnow, or...
Wow, this is hilarious. Pokemon like Abomasnow. That has personality. It's a trait.